Ayo, and what is up, gang? Thank you so much for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight for your official review for January 8th edition of Monday Night Raw, or what I would like to call tonight, Monday Night Waste. Not just because it wasted 3 hours of your life, but the WWE decided to waste, literally, everybody that they had tonight. And we are going to talk about all of it right here and right now on the newest, fastest rising podcast in all of YouTube, baby. I'm talking about the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. So, let's do it.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
All right, wrestling fans, thank you so much for checking us out once again tonight. My name is Nick Nightmare. Along with me, as always, is my trusty companion, my bestest friend, and the World Heavyweight Champion of Microphones, Blue the Snowball. And we are here to talk about tonight's edition of Monday Night Waste. Yeah, that's right, Monday Night Waste. Live from Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis, usually a pretty good crowd. They were kind of there tonight, but I don't blame them for phasing in and out of this show. This show was an absolute waste. This was the most garbage show we have had all year. I am not blinded by the colors of the Balor Club. Okay, I am not going to be fooled by the WWE's sudden interest in trying to capitalize on the Bullet Club in some way. And they don't even do that right. They don't do it right at all. What we've seen tonight out of the Balor Club is nothing more than WWE garbage. Garbage. They should be ashamed of themselves. Were they not watching Wrestle Kingdom last week? You would think after a show like that, they would decide that they have to up the ante a little bit. You're going to use some national championship football game going on in college football, I believe. I don't even know what game it is that everybody's talking about, tweeting about on Twitter. You think that's a reason? You think that excuses you from putting on a good show? Well, you know, a lot of people are going to be watching the football game, so let's just throw together the most bullshit show we can. Because nobody's going to be watching anyway. What about the 10, 15,000 people that are showing up live? Don't they account for anything? What about all of us that are going to be watching at home? We are going to be watching. Wrestling fans watch wrestling. We don't watch football on a Monday night. We don't. You're not giving us any good reason to choose you over football. At this point, I would take a good football game over what I would have to be sitting through for 3 hours tonight on Monday Night Raw. Absolutely ridiculous. There was so much wrong with this show that we can't even cover it all on one episode. And we're not going to ever do a multiple episode review of Monday Night Raw. So we're not really going to go through the matches and the holds and who won and who lost, because it doesn't matter. This show was nothing. This show meant nothing. It built really a little bit towards Raw 25. Now, that in itself is a problem for me. I understand you cannot control anniversaries and where they fall in a calendar year. But having Raw's 25th anniversary so close to the Royal Rumble is taking away from the build to the Royal Rumble. It's being booked as this big, huge event. They're spoiling any surprises that they may have in store because they announced everybody that's going to be there. So if you were looking forward to maybe being surprised by one of your favorites showing up at Raw 25, you don't have to be surprised. Surprise is dead. Surprise is dead. The internet and Twitter ruined it. We have to announce everything as soon as possible so we can get people to watch. Instead of giving us the element of surprise and saying, hey, screw you guys that don't watch us, you missed it. You gotta tune in. If you don't tune in, you're gonna miss it. And if you missed it, then you put it on the internet. Then you put it on YouTube. Not before. What's wrong with this company? That's just a minor blip on all the things that were wrong with tonight. The Balor Club. The Balor Club was more than a 1 week thing. Great. Fantastic. But they're already doing it all wrong. They're booking the Balor Club as a babyface group. They want the t-shirts and the merch, and they want this little experiment that they're doing. This little bit of crumbs, this tiny nugget that they're finally deciding to feed Gallows and Anderson and Balor by teaming them together. They want to milk as much out of it as possible. So, of course, we can't turn Finn Balor heel, can we? That was the only way this thing was really going to work. We don't need another good guy faction. We got the New Day. You know, they were a decent heel faction for a while, but they got way too over, and everybody loves the New Day. If you're watching WWE, why do you give a shit about the Balor Club? If you're watching and you care about this formation, which many people in my circle at least do, it's because you watch them elsewhere before they got here. You're a mark for New Japan. You are big on Ring of Honor. You love the Bullet Club before they were ever even thought about being brought into the WWE. So these are the people, like-minded individuals like myself, that are all over this and that are enjoying it as much as they possibly can. But the Bullet Club, or the Balor Club, should not be established as a babyface faction. They should have come out and cut heel promos, not quasi-amusing, entertaining promos so that, you know, they could still be good guys. They should have tore the Shield apart. They should have tore Jason Jordan apart. They should have established themselves as a heel faction. And the way the show ended tonight should have been with the Balor Club doing what we would see from the Miz-Taraj at the end of this show. The Miz-Taraj, once again, being booked as the most dominant faction in all of the WWE. Every single time they are in the ring with the Shield or some grouping of individuals, they leave people in disaster. They leave me in disaster, mostly, sitting on my couch, because I don't understand it. I don't understand how in the main event tonight I can watch for about 13 minutes Roman Reigns nearly single-handedly dismantling the Balor Club. Every time he was involved, it's like nobody had a chance. Seth Rollins took majority of the offense, and Jason Jordan was a stupid cheerleader on the outside. That's all we had. That's all we had in this match. The Roman Reigns show. The Balor Club made to look like fools. What was the point of this match? You would think, to get over the Balor Club, but it wasn't. It was to get over the Miz-Taraj. He couldn't dismantle the Miz-Taraj by himself, but he could take out the Balor Club. Pretty much all by himself. That main event was senseless. It just made me cringe. I'm glad that they won. Don't get me wrong, the Balor Club did come out with the win. But for what? For them to walk away and walk up the entrance ramp to the back, go through the curtain for the Miz and his goons and his little minions to come out and steal the spotlight from the Balor Club and establish themselves as the dominant three-man group, the heel three-man group on the Raw roster. That whole entire thing should have been the end of the match, and the way the Balor Club truly made their presence known tonight. That's not what we got. We got the elevation once again of the Miz-Taraj. Absolute garbage. Bo Dallas looking like Bray Wyatt if he was well groomed and lost about 50 pounds. With that beard and everything, he looks exactly like his brother. Looks like an alternate universe version of Bray Wyatt. All cleaned up, all trimmed down a little bit from his pudgy little Rasta-haired self. I just can't stand it. And the bickering between him and Axel, the comedy bullshit, it's just too much. It's too much. The WWE's creative is just all over the place. And they suck. And it makes wrestling hard to watch. It makes being a fan disappointing sometimes. I hate myself on nights like tonight for being a fan. And all you people that, well, then if you don't like it, don't watch it. It's not my fault that they make a bad show. I don't know for sure every time I sit on the couch Monday night that I'm going to sit through a bad show. I'm a hopeful individual. I never try to look towards the downside of anything. So every time, even when we have a show as bad as tonight, I always try to say, well, next week's gotta be better than this. They never pull through. They never follow through. Sometimes we'll get a blip where, oh, well, tonight was kind of a decent show. Maybe we're on the up and up. But it doesn't sustain. It doesn't keep going. It dips right back down to where we are right now. 2018 is almost starting off worse than 2017. And if history tells you anything, 2017 is a year in wrestling that nobody really wants to remember. You'll pick and choose your little cherries out of that year that you might never want to forget. But for the most part, it was not a memorable year. And we are definitely set up to follow that same path. Monday Night Raw tonight kicks off with a 10-minute Big Brother, Little Brother bickering session between Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Jason Jordan, which is what set up this whole Balor Club match. And it's great to see them, but I feel like it's too late. Gallows and Anderson have been booked like trash. Finn Balor, we've talked about the problems with Finn Balor on this channel at end for so many times, I don't even want to go through them all again. He's been wasted. Just like the Balor Club tonight was wasted. You brought them back, you gave them a high-profile match just for them to walk away and give all the heat and give all the press and make what tonight's show all about be The Miz and The Miz to Rush. And that's unacceptable. I'm not anti-Miz. I love The Miz. But Miz, Balor Club, it's not equal. And The Miz is definitely not the greater of the two. So the WWE's mind frame continues. They didn't create this Balor Club thing. I know they own the trademark to Balor Club. They can't use Bullet Club. But essentially they didn't create the idea that is being used to propel this team. So they're not going to get behind it. You're not going to have the machine on this thing. They don't give a shit about the Balor Club. And they proved that tonight. Sure, they gave them the win. But what did they get? What did they truly get? Nothing. Nothing. We'll have to see where it goes from here. The more they continue to book them in a babyface fashion, the more I believe it's set up to fail. Because if you're not going to turn Roman heel, which we know you're not going to do, then you at least have to turn Finn Balor heel. And then when you have the Shield reunite with Ambrose and you have the Balor Club maybe really kicking ass all year long, throughout Ambrose's absence, the Shield is not at full strength, and the Balor Club just runs roughshod all over the WWE Universe. Until Ambrose comes back, you have the Shield reunite, you have them take down the Balor Club, and then you have Ambrose turn on the Shield. It's a beautiful thing, if you really think about it. And it could all culminate at WrestleMania. But we're not on that path. We're on the path of Roman Reigns versus The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship at the Raw 25 show in 2 weeks. Now I ask you, and I illustrate to you even further, now we know Roman's not going to lose, because he's going to have this Intercontinental Championship all the way into his match with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. This is a foregone conclusion. But let's just say, because everybody knows this, because everybody's thinking this, the WWE wants to take a sidestep. What if they decide to give the Intercontinental Championship back to The Miz? I highly, highly doubt it, but what if they decide to do that? Wouldn't it have maybe been better to do it with Finn Balor instead? A guy that's been waiting and waiting and waiting for his Universal Championship match to get the belt that he's never lost over a year ago back around his waist. You could at least give him the opportunity at the Intercontinental Championship that he deserves and launch the Bullet Club that way. instead of having the tag team championships around the waist of a makeshift tag team that's going nowhere, that's nothing more than a drama angle for their TV show, why don't you put it back on Gallows and Anderson, the way you want to do with the Shield, and give it to Roman and have Rollins and Ambrose be champ? Why don't you have Gallows and Anderson be the tag champs? Let Finn Balor have the Intercontinental Championship and let the Balor Club reign supreme for a while. Watch the difference in your show. And let them be heels. True heels. Beating people up in the back. Attacking people backstage, in the ring, during promos, knocking people out with their belts, just totally being dicks. That's what you want to see. I don't know. At least that's what I want to see. What else was wasted? Matt Hardy. Wasted. Wasted tonight. In a match with Kurt Hawkins? Kurt Hawkins got such a jobber entrance that when we came back from commercial and he was in the ring, they were still playing Matt Hardy's new theme song, which was fucking awesome, by the way. You knew they were going to use the original theme he was using in TNA. I mean, it's a classical music piece, and I believe it's open for, free use. But you know that WWE had to put a spin on it, and the guys at CFO, what a spin they put on this. It was absolutely fantastic. I loved this track. I think it's absolutely fitting to the character. It's fitting to the WWE. Feels like a wrestling song. Sounds very orchestral, very much in the same light as the song that I was kind of making for, myself and my wrestling persona that I've been working on over the last few months. But that's not important. What is important is how much of a waste this was. This angle has been so long awaited. Everybody's wanted to see Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy ever since it first started to be leaked through the Twitter universe while Matt Hardy was still in TNA. This is something that everybody's been talking about for well over a year. We finally got it. We've been teased it. It's been beginning. The promos have started. The attacks have begun. And then tonight, after Matt Hardy easily disposes of another waste in a different way, in a waste as in the waste that comes out of my ass, Kurt Hawkins disposes of him very easily. Bray Wyatt, his little, video clip hits, the lights come back on, Bray Wyatt standing there in the ring with Matt Hardy, and I'm sitting there like, alright, something's about to go down. And you know what went down? A laughing contest. A laughing contest, to which nobody in the crowd was really amused. I was not amused. It went on for a good 3-4 solid minutes of these guys just laughing at each other, which in some respects I guess could be cool, but the way it was produced tonight and the way it came off, it was very awkward. It would have been much better to me if at least the lights went out, and then when the lights came back on, one of the two men maybe disappeared, leaving the other one there all befuddled and confused, like, what the hell? This guy comes, laughs in my face, and then disappears. It would have just gave the segment a little bit better closure, but to end it with the two of them in the ring, and then going to black, and then to commercial, it's like, what? It's like, where did they go? What happened? So they both disappeared into the darkness, and now we don't know where they have gone, or that's it, just end scene. Like, what the hell was that? I'm expecting so much more from this angle that I guess I'm not being very forgiving. And I should, I guess, be thankful that they're giving it to me at all, because it was one of the only things on the show that actually got my attention. There were a couple of things, not that they were good, but there were a couple of things of note that did happen on this show. And we are going to get to the rest of them. But that Matt Hardy, Bray Wyatt, waste. No progression. Absolutely exactly where we were last week. Nothing different about what's going on over there. The women's division, as usual, was wasted in the same combination of 6 women put into one matchup. Sure, it was a tag team matchup, 2-on-2. Sasha Banks and Bayley, with Mickie James on the outside, taking on some of the crap solution. It was Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville with Paige on the outside. Now, the fact that Paige has seemingly been replaced in her pursuit of Asuka by a certain Nia Jax, and that she was not taking part in this matchup tonight, maybe makes you think she's a little more hurt than WWE is letting on. But we'll have to keep our eyes on that story. By the way, Mickie James. Whew. Mickie James looked fucking great tonight. Here's a girl that is the oldest girl out there, and definitely was the best looking girl at ringside in the whole matchup. And that's just weird, I think. You know, you don't expect that. But absolutely, props to Mickie James. She looked absolutely fantastic tonight. Absolutely beautiful. The Crap Solution did not. I hate Crap Solution. It still doesn't make sense to me what they're doing. Like I said, they've had to sidestep from Asuka for some reason, and the only reason I could think of is Paige is probably hurt, and they're going to hold back on that. And then we would have Alexa Bliss talking backstage to her best buddy, Nia Jax. She feigns some concern for Enzo, just like the rest of us, and we'll talk about Enzo in a minute. But the one interesting thing about this backstage encounter is that Alexa Bliss claims that Asuka has said something nasty about Nia Jax. You know, girly gossip stuff, right? One Tree Hill type nonsense. Beverly Hills 90210. Ooh, he said, she said, what did she say? Right? Cares. Who cares? Even though it's Alexa Bliss, I don't care. I really don't care about this. She's going, obviously, to tell her something that Asuka did not say. Okay, but the problem I have with this segment is Nia Jax comes off looking like an absolute dope in this segment because Alexa whispers something to Nia Jax, said, Asuka said this about you. We are not made privy to what Alexa Bliss made up. But Nia Jax is like, oh, Asuka said that? You speak Japanese now? And Alexa's like, no. And Nia Jax incorrectly says, Asuka doesn't speak English. Last time I checked, she did. I don't think she'd be able to get this far in the WWE without English. I've heard her speak English. It's not great. It's a work in progress. But I've heard her cut promos. Didn't she just announce herself to be an entrant into the Women's Royal Rumble? Was she not the first one to do so? She doesn't just know how to say nobody's ready for Asuka. She knows other words. Just made her look kind of stupid there, and I wasn't appreciative of that, because Nia Jax should be made to look better than that. Absolute waste. But that matchup would end with Sasha Banks putting Mandy Rose in the bank statement. Anyway, like I said, the matches tonight, everything that happened tonight, inconsequential. Doesn't mean shit. We are exactly where we were last week, which is where we were 2 weeks ago, which is where we're going to be every week until we get to Raw 25, where they might actually be deciding to do some things. I don't know. Let's talk about another waste. The Bar was wasted tonight. Now, I'm the first one on here always complaining that they're always facing Rollins and Ambrose or some combination of the Shield or whatever. But giving them Titus Worldwide tonight, and it gets much worse than this. Now, listen, I might be a little bit out of line, and don't jump down my throat with this. This is my opinion. This is my show, and I'm going to share my opinion. And whether you find it inappropriate or not, that's up to you. But when I see Dana Brooke with Titus Worldwide, I feel like I'm about to watch a Brazzers video. I feel like she's the unkempt, glam, stretched out face, porn star, overly done. And Titus and Apollo are the two studs that are going to take her to Pound Town. You know what I'm saying? Simultaneously at the same time. Chinese handcuff style. This is what I feel like I'm about to watch when I see this trio on the screen. I apologize if that offends you. And I'm not trying to be funny. It's just, it's what I thought. It's what I thought. I see them come up on the screen, and I feel like this is an adult film about to happen. I just don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy it at all. And then to make matters worse, this bullshit tag team match would end with Titus Worldwide getting the win over multiple time tag team champions and number one contenders to the tag team titles, the Bar. And I lack to find the logic in the whole thing. All this says to me is that somehow this Royal Rumble tag team match is probably going to end up being made into a triple threat, or maybe Titus and Apollo are going to get a shot at the tag team championships and they are going to take them off of Rollins and Jordan, which I'm not going to say I'm not opposed to it, because I am. I am opposed to it. There are other tag teams that could be used in this scenario that could benefit from something like that. Seeing Titus Worldwide get the win tonight over Sheamus and Cesaro just felt like a travesty to me. It felt like a miscarriage of justice. It felt like, what are they doing over there? Why would you stain the record of the Bar as they're going to have a match for the World Tag Team Championships once again? Does that make sense to you guys? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Wasted tonight. Elias. Probably the person wasted the most on this night. One of the most talented wrestlers that you have. This is a guy that took Roman Reigns and put on a great match with him. Every single person you put him in the ring with, he has a very, very good match with. He has Intercontinental Champion written all over his body. His shtick, his gimmick is fun. It's so great. It's old school and new simultaneously, which just makes me feel fantastic. I love everything about the character. And the fact that on this night, his sole purpose was to go out there and introduce The Miz. Unacceptable. How can you guys call yourself bookers when all you have for Elias tonight is to go sing a song and introduce The Miz? That's the best you got? That's the best you got. 3 hours of TV. And you wasted about 20 minutes to give Elias Sampson a song, have him introduce The Miz, and then have The Miz come out and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and tell everybody he's going to have a new TV show on USA with him and Maurice, who cares, and talk and talk and talk. It led to nothing. It was a big waste of everybody's time. Later on, The Miz would be seen in the back going to Kurt Angle, which is where he would request his rematch for the Intercontinental Championship at the 25th anniversary of Raw, which is something that nobody wants to see. Things got a little bit interesting in the case of the Cruiserweights tonight, as Enzo Amore got his face busted wide open and was bleeding like a stuffed pig. He couldn't get away from it. There was blood all over his face. It seemed that he busted open his upper left eye region, and it was just pouring blood all over his face. This match actually kicked off, and it wasn't too bad at the start. It looked like it maybe had the potential to be a good Cruiserweight Championship match, which you don't get very often from Enzo Amore, but the spot that knocked him in the face and got him cut definitely got him off his game. And then there was a spot where Cedric would come off the ropes and go to a suicide dive over the top rope, land on top of Enzo Amore, whose leg got caught very awkwardly. If you watched it, you know what I'm talking about. It looked legit. His reaction was legit. And I am very much expecting to wake up tomorrow morning and find out Enzo Amore is going to be on the shelf for much longer than the flu took him out for. It seems that the WWE is not taking Fate seriously. Fate keeps taking people out of angles that, at least in my opinion, are not working and should not be working and need to stop. Just like they did to Bray Wyatt with Sister Abigail, just like they did to the reunion of the Shield twice now. They made Roman Reigns sick, and now they hurt Dean Ambrose. So the Shield reunion never fully got even touched. It barely even kicked off. And now they made Enzo Amore sick to show you guys, hey, this is not going the right way. You got to change it. You refuse to change it. You went back to things as usual, and look what happens. Look what happens. You broke up Enzo and Cass last year. Bad move. Fate didn't like that decision. Fate made Cass say bye-bye. Tell me I'm wrong. Is it the wrestling gods at work here? Because if they are, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you. Not that I wish anybody to be hurt. I really don't wish any bad things on anybody. But it couldn't happen to a better guy in this situation because I'm so sick of this Enzo Amore push. It's been too much. It's been down our throats. And it's just not getting the right attention that is needed for the Cruiserweight division. To get the Cruiserweight division over, you need to highlight Cruiserweight action. Not some fast-talking, jive-talking retard named Enzo Amore. On that note, I hope his injury is not too bad and that he's able to recover because I'm not an asshole. I'm not. I just have my opinion, and that's what it is, and I'm sticking to it. This next thing we're going to talk about was kind of cool, but the adult in me finds it very, very, very corny and a little bit cheesy, if you're asking me. And again, I struggle to ask that you guys couldn't come up with anything a little bit better than this segment that you concocted for Brock Lesnar, Kane, and Braun Strowman. First of all, once again, nobody wants to see Kane, so once his involvement happens in anything, my interest immediately goes down about 50%. So that's just the first fact of the matter. Secondly, this whole storyline and this whole lead up into this match has made me so disinterested that I didn't even listen to Paul Heyman. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I kind of tuned out at multiple points during this show, and the fact that I could care less about what Paul Heyman had to say about this encounter coming up at the Royal Rumble is one of the biggest red flags I could ever show myself that something is wrong with this wrestling show, and that's everything is wrong with this show. Braun Strowman pulls down some structure. I don't know what it was. It obviously had no importance because it didn't hold up anything. The wall behind it didn't fall. You know, the Raw set didn't come collapsing down. It was some unnecessary black structure that was just placed there. Braun Strowman gets a grappling hook like he's fucking Batman. Throws it up there. Hits it. You know, he got the grappling hook to latch. First shot. You know, because he's a true life superhero. Obviously, he's a dead shot, right? And pulls this shit down on top of Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman. Yeah, right. It was kind of cool. It was something different. Something a little more Attitude Era-esque on Monday Night Raw. But given the components of Kane and Braun and Brock, it's just, I don't know, you guys. Maybe I'm just a jaded fan. Maybe I don't like wrestling as much as I used to. No, that's bullshit. That's bullshit, because there is a club somewhere, many clubs across the world, that do this the right way. And that's why I think, as fans of the WWE product, we get so angry. Because it's really not that hard. And you don't even have to look that far. You don't have to look to Ring of Honor. You don't have to look to New Japan. You only have to look right from within, right down below, at the NXT. At the developmental. They do everything right. And then I get a Monday Night Raw like tonight. How could you truly care? How could you truly care? Are they giving you hints, or are they trying to feed us the possibility that Brock Lesnar is going to lose this match? That maybe Braun Strowman is going to pin Kane without damaging the illustrious Brock Lesnar, without killing his momentum so he doesn't lose anything leading into his match with Roman Reigns, and then maybe we're going to have Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar at the Elimination Chamber or whatever friggin' pay-per-view they're going to have for Raw before WrestleMania happens. Why would they do that? Why would they throw that speed bump in there? He's had it all this time. He's been off TV all this time without it, and now with such little time to go before the Royal Rumble and just a few months before WrestleMania really is going to be here, now you're going to decide to give it to Braun Strowman when you should have given it to him months ago at Great Balls of Fire so that we could have at least have had a Universal Champion for the last few months? And then maybe we wouldn't have Roman Reigns as the Intercontinental Champion right now? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. You guys can sound off in the comments down below. I'm sorry, Blue, buddy. And to you guys, if that made a big boom, I apologize. Asuka gets attacked by Nia Jax. Before Asuka's going to have a match against somebody. There was nobody out there. At least I didn't see anybody out there. We don't know who she was supposed to fight. I don't know if it was supposed to be Nia Jax. And then Nia just jumped the gun before the match started and got the match thrown out because she attacked Asuka and made her look terrible. I don't like this only because I know the history in NXT and I've seen Asuka already absolutely dismantle Nia Jax. It was not that great of a match. They did not have very good chemistry. I expect that to change, but I'm very, very intrigued by the fact that they are putting this Nia Jax thing on the map with Asuka right now. I think that's something that they should have built towards at a later date. Nia Jax has not really been built to be that imposing of a figure. What real threat is she to Asuka when she can't beat the likes of a Sasha Banks and a Bayley? You know what I mean? So, yeah, tonight she got the upper hand, but that's because she attacked her from behind. If Asuka sees her coming, Nia Jax is going down. Because nobody is ready for Asuka. And she's going to show you how much English she speaks when she busts up Nia Jax next week on Monday Night Raw. So let's wait and see what happens there. I skipped over something here. Oh, Samoa Joe wasted. Samoa Joe wasted in a matchup with Rhino. Samoa Joe last week is wrestling for the Intercontinental Championship. Brought Roman Reigns to one of the best matches you'll ever see Roman Reigns have. And he is rewarded by 1 week later being placed in a match with Rhino, who has zero momentum, who just lost to Braun Strowman, who is not a threat, and makes absolutely no sense for this match to be taking place. I did for a moment have a fleeting bit of hope that this might actually be a good match because I remember Samoa Joe versus Rhino from TNA back in 2006 and 2007, and they had some great, hard-hitting, very, very well-fought matches, and I thought maybe for a minute that we were going to get a glimpse of that, but we didn't. We got a 5-minute squash of Rhino, Coquina Clutch, Clutch, and Samoa Joe would win this match very easily. Renee Young would approach him and be like, so Joe, what do you think about maybe facing Shinsuke Nakamura and this guy and that guy and John Cena? And then Joe like flips his lid. He's like, oh, John Cena, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to single-handedly make John Cena my target in the Royal Rumble. He's going to go after Cena as soon as he comes out there. So there you go. We have that to look forward to. Joe versus Cena is a match I definitely would want to see on a big stage. At, WrestleMania would be ideal, I think. But I'm almost positive that's not going to happen. John Cena being in the Royal Rumble frightens me to no end. And I hope that Samoa Joe is successful in his bid to gun and take out so that we can't see John Cena when that Rumble is over, winning the whole thing. Finally, the 6-man main event. We talked a lot about this at the beginning. We're not going to keep rambling on and going over and over it. But the matchup in itself, it was your standard, very predictable situation. Like we said, the Balor Club did not look great. It was a decent match. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but the Balor Club was made to look inferior to Roman Reigns throughout the entirety of this match, which I did not agree with. I thought they should have been dominant. Not just win this match, but dominant and make their presence felt, make people be afraid of the fact that these guys are a team. What accolades have they attained on their own? Sure, Finn Balor was the Universal Champion, but since then he's been nothing. He's been booked in useless and ridiculous feuds. He had a great match with AJ Styles and got no reward for it. He was taken out of the picture for his supposed match with Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship, so he's not going to get his rematch anytime soon. He's been wasted. Gallows and Anderson, they go from being doctors with the porn star Dana Brooke to being the good old boys, and they had a great little skit on Southpaw Regional Wrestling, but they've been booked so terribly that they actually booked them as their personas from Southpaw Regional Wrestling on a Monday Night Raw one night. How serious can you take Gallows and Anderson? So even when you place them together, there's no real threat right away. You needed to establish them in a much bigger way than just giving them a couple of big wins. But they failed to do that here. Jason Jordan was the story of this match, as usual. And I just didn't care for it. I didn't care for the ending. I didn't really like the fact that The Miz and the Miztourage would steal the Bullet Club's thunder, the Balor Club's thunder, and make this night all about them. Undeserving. And we're going backwards. We're going back to seeing Roman Reigns and The Miz again, instead of seeing Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor for the Intercontinental Championship with his buddies in his corner. And then you could definitely further the storyline with this Jason Jordan thing going on. I'm going to be fair. I'm going to say before we sign off, Jason Jordan in this role of this pesty little brother that nobody wants around kind of thing is a lot more entertaining than what he has been doing as Kurt Angle's son. And I feel like if this was going on without him being Kurt Angle's son, Jason Jordan would be getting over much bigger. But the association with Kurt Angle has definitely hurt him more than helped him, and the WWE need to recognize that and end this storyline as soon as possible. It looks as if maybe they're tiptoeing in that direction. Jason Jordan is kind of being a heel, so it looks like they are going to maybe consider going down that line. I think it might be the way to go with this whole thing. But time will tell. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is tonight's thoughts on Monday Night Raw. It was a tough one, man. I wasted 3 hours of my life. I wasted a Monday night. I did not, however, waste the last 40 some odd minutes with you guys. And I want to thank you so much for being here with me once again. If you are not a member of the Sledgehammer Club, and this was your first time viewing, and you are here at the end of this video, that means that you agreed or liked or enjoyed this show. You agreed with what I had to say, and I think you should become a part of the crew. And all you have to do is be awesome. And to be awesome requires just 3 easy steps. First, you go and you hit that like button. Hit that thumbs up, punch it right in the mouth, let me know that you did so. Make me feel it. Hit the button so hard that I feel it all night long and it keeps me from getting a good night's sleep. And then after you hit that button, you hit the share button and you show this video to every single buddy you have that you know loves pro wrestling and that you know might enjoy the show. Maybe you think they'll just like my face. Maybe you want to show them my mask collection that we got going on over here. Maybe you want to show them Seth Rollins. Maybe they're a big Seth Rollins guy. Here's a place where you could see him each and every time you get your eyes on the screen, because he's going to be here with me. Just like Blue's going to be here with me on each and every episode. And then, all you have to do, hit that subscribe button. Join the movement today. Make the Sledgehammer TV channel one of the biggest channels in all of YouTube's wrestling community. You guys are a big part of that. Thank you so much. I love each and every one of my subscribers. My videos for the last couple of weeks have been performing absolutely outstanding, and I have you guys to thank for that. keep coming out in force. Make sure you keep hitting that like button. Make sure you keep leaving your comments, because I love to know what you guys think, as well as I love to let you know what I think, because that is what I do right here on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. That, ladies and gentlemen, is going to do it. And we are out of here, and we will see you tomorrow night for SmackDown Live, right here on the newest, fastest wrestling podcast in all of the YouTube wrestling community, and it is the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, right here on Sledgehammer TV, only on YouTube.com. You guys make the difference. Like, share, and subscribe. I love you so much, and we will see you tomorrow night for SmackDown Live.